the experiments did not stop. They only became more terrifying. New prisoners arrived every week, and many never left the facility alive. The scientists continued their research, with no mercy for human life, and inside the underground chambers, the horrors only grew worse. Some experiments lasted for days. Without food, without medicine, and without hope, the prisoners were forced to endure unbearable pain. While the scientists observed everything, and deep beneath the facility, the suffering continued in silence. The facility became a place of endless fear, where human life meant nothing. Some prisoners were infected on purpose to test deadly biological weapons. The scientists recorded every reaction as the victims slowly grew weaker, and inside the dark laboratories, the experiments continued day and night. Some prisoners were taken into isolated chambers, where no sound could escape. The experiments became increasingly brutal. As the war continued to grow more desperate, many victims were left untreated, only to observe how long they could survive. And behind the locked steel doors, the suffering never truly ended. Inside the underground laboratories, the scientists searched for faster ways to spread disease. Prisoners were exposed to dangerous infections. Without knowing what would happen to them, many became too weak to survive. But the experiments never stopped. And deep inside Unit 731, fear consumed everything. The prisoners inside Unit 731 were constantly watched. There was no escape from the underground facility. Every movement was controlled by armed guards, and fear spread through the dark corridors each day. Some victims were too weak to stand, but the experiments continued without stopping. And deep beneath the laboratory, silence became part of the horror. Some experiments were conducted in complete darkness. Only the sounds of suffering could be heard. The prisoners had no idea what would happen next, and many lived in constant terror. The scientists continued testing new methods, without caring who survived, and inside the hidden chambers, the nightmare never truly ended. Some victims were too weak to stand, but the experiments continued without stopping, and deep beneath the laboratory, silence became part of the horror. Some experiments were conducted in complete darkness. Only the sounds of suffering could be heard. The prisoners had no idea what would happen next, and many lived in constant terror. The scientists continued testing new methods, without caring who survived, and inside the hidden chambers, the nightmare never truly ended. Outside the facility, the war continued to spread. But inside Unit 731, another nightmare was unfolding. The underground laboratories became colder each day, as more prisoners disappeared without a trace. Some victims were kept alive for further experiments, while others were taken away forever. And beneath the silent halls, fear controlled everything. The prisoners were rarely allowed to see daylight. Most of their lives were spent underground. The walls of the facility hid countless secrets, and many of those secrets disappeared with the victims. The scientists kept searching for deadlier weapons, while the suffering inside continued to grow. And somewhere within the dark corridors, hope slowly vanished. Some prisoners became too weak to move. But the experiments continued without mercy. The underground rooms echoed with fear and silence. As more victims disappeared each day, the underground halls became quieter each night. As fewer prisoners were seen alive, some victims were locked away for days, without knowing why they had been chosen. The fear inside the facility spread rapidly, and even the guards avoided certain rooms. Deep beneath Unit 731, the nightmare continued without end. The scientists continued documenting every experiment, as if human suffering was only scientific data. Prisoners were moved through hidden corridors, toward rooms no one returned from. The underground laboratories grew darker over time, and silence filled the concrete walls. Inside the facility, hope no longer existed. Some prisoners begged to be released, but no one inside Unit 731 listened. The experiments continued day after day. Without mercy or compassion, the deeper the war descended into chaos, the darker the experiments became, and beneath the underground facility, humanity slowly vanished forever. The truth behind Unit 731 remained hidden for many years. Many documents were destroyed before the war ended. The scientists tried to erase every trace, but some evidence survived. Survivors later revealed terrifying details about what happened inside the underground facility. The world slowly began to uncover the truth, but many questions still remain unanswered. How many victims were truly lost? How much evidence was destroyed forever? Some names were never recorded. Some stories were buried in silence, and some horrors may never be fully understood. Even today, the shadow of Unit 731 still remains, hidden beneath history, buried beneath fear, and locked behind forgotten walls. But this story is far from over. There are still darker secrets to uncover, secrets the world was never meant to know. If you want to continue to part 3, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because the next chapter may be even more disturbing.